Hello, good afternoon. My name is Laurie, and I'm from Leeward Community College, along with Jordan Luton and Amy McKee from UH Mānoa. And we want to welcome you to Transfer Tuesday, one of our UH Mānoa Transfer Workshop series. There's a chat button. You're welcome to put questions in the chat at any time. And there's also a Q&A button feature as well. Just to briefly go over today's agenda, we will be sharing about Peace Studies and Peace Corps Certificate with Jose Barzola and student Sarah Kane. And also we have special guests from the College of Social Sciences at UH Mānoa, and Dawn, Jennifer, Jarrett, Kana, and also Daniel Ferguson. So they'll be introducing themselves a little more as the session goes along.
Before we get started with the session, we just wanted to share a little bit about UH Mnoa with you folks. So the University of Hawaii at Manoa was founded in 1907 and is considered a land, sea, space, and sun grant institution. We have over 100 bachelor's for undergraduate majors for students to choose from, as well as graduate and professional degrees, including law, medicine, business, social work, engineering, and education. We are an NCAA Division I school, a Research I institution, and we strive towards being a Native Hawaiian place of learning. And so while you're at the community college, and before you transfer to UH Mnoa, we'd love for you to consider joining the KAIE program. The KAIE program is a partnership between UH Mnoa and the UH community colleges, and we provide proactive academic advising to students. We waive the application fees towards going to Manoa. You have the option to take a Manoa class while you're at the community college, and when you do transfer, you get to register early. If you are interested in joining the KAIE program, please let me know in the chat and I'd be happy to send you more information. In order to join the program, you do need to have at least 24 transferable credits, a 2.0 GPA, and have at least one more semester remaining at the community college. So if you're thinking about transferring to Manoa for fall 2021, definitely join the KAIE program. All right. And without further ado, we'll turn it over to our first speaker today, Jose Barzola and Sarah Kane from the Peace Studies program.
Laurie and Amy, thank you so much for having us here today. Nice to virtually meet everyone who's with us today. I will get us started with, I'm here on behalf of the Matsunaga Institute for Peace, which we're an academic unit here at the UH Mānoa, which offers courses on peace and conflict resolution. We're named after the late Senator Sparky Matsunaga, and I can get into a little history about Sparky at another time, but based on time, I want to focus on the academics today. Going to share my screen here and provide you, I think what's really best is utilizing our website and what we have already installed. And if you go to peaceinstitute.manoa.hawaii.edu, you can see our main website right there. You can follow us through social media and keep in tune with all the different outreach programs we have going on. So going to academic programs, you can learn a little bit further about we have 3 different possible programs that undergraduate students can get involved in. One is our Bachelor's in Peace and Conflict Resolution, which is through Interdisciplinary Studies. Then there is the undergrad certificate in Peace Studies, and then there is the Peace Corps Prep Certificate. So to get us started briefly, I'm going to mention IS. It is a major that's specifically through Interdisciplinary Studies. And as you go through there, you can see, contact Dr. Brian Hallett to get further information. IS does provide an orientation. That's really your first place to really get started, to express that you are truly interested in the program. You can see the qualifications and then the requirements for the major. It is not only possible to major in this, it is possible to double major with this. We have a couple different students who have done this in the past. I do have a pre-recording of one of our alum who can speak a little bit more about the program. So I will get to that in a minute. And let's switch on over to the shared screen so you can hear. So Joanna Marcos is actually one of our alum who graduated in fall of December 2018. She not only she was a double major in public health and then ISBA in peace and conflict resolution with a focus on health disparities. She was also one of our recipients of our Peace Corps prep certificate, and then went off to do the Peace Corps as well in Namibia. So that'll be another tidbit. But yes, I'm gonna get this started so you can hear it right from her words what the experience of the IS degree is really about.
Hey, greetings. Today I will be talking about my interdisciplinary studies experience, specifically with peace and conflict resolution. My name is Joanna Marcos Garcia, and I do want to express before I begin that all of these views are personal and they're unrelated to the university. This is just my experience and the things that I learned from the process of getting this degree. So what it is, I've taken all of these writing samples directly from the UHM website. So what they describe the Interdisciplinary Studies program as an opportunity to pursue innovative fields of study, and it's giving you a chance to draw from other academic disciplines that kind of work together to create a powerful learning experience. And for the most part, they are correct. I do agree entirely with this. So what that can look like. So specifically, if you're using me as an example, my degree is a Bachelor of Arts in Peace and Conflict Resolution, Health Disparities as a Global Conflict. So the academics that I drew from, the departments I drew from, were from the Peace and Conflict, Education, Public Health, and Microbiology. So I took courses from all three of those departments to actually create this major. And so what's very important about the Interdisciplinary Studies major is that it lets you define your educational pathway. It lets you define what classes you want to take that will support an overall career goal. So it's not just a degree, it's putting a foundation to what you want to work for in the future. It allows you to bridge differences between separate departments to create innovative solutions for an overall problem, not just a career goal. So I know I want to do public health and work into the community of public health, but this degree allows me to further be successful, to learn more, and to have more creative problem-solving skills and more tools to actually do some positive peace change in my actual field. And I can do that by the peace and conflict education courses, microbiology courses, and public health courses that I utilized for my major. So for interdisciplinary studies majors, there are a few things to consider because this is not your traditional educational pathway. It is not your sort of traditional degree. So if you're like me and you're looking for a dual degree program, because I also have a Bachelor of Arts in Public Health, you have to think about, is this to supplement another degree, or is this expanding on knowledge that will help you later on in your life, in your career, or in your job? How can you make yourself more competitive professionally? Will this even help you holistically? What exactly is it that you want to do? And it's more thinking about you and less thinking about the exact specific job that you want. How will the Interdisciplinary Studies program help you? How can peace and conflict education help you in your private space, in your professional space, and in the decisions that you make to, like I said, actually conduct positive change? And if this is going to be a primary degree, now you should ask yourself, what exactly is the career that you want? What type of leader do you want to be? And how will combining specialties help you with your end goal interests? Because you are looking at very different departments. Like, for example, my public health and my peace and conflict education, those are very two different programs seemingly on the surface. So you have to ask yourself how combining these two departments will actually help you be a very successful leader and a very successful person. So what is it exactly that you want to do that a traditional pathway can't help you with? Because like I said, this is not a traditional pathway. You are looking at different departments and different courses and putting them together in a way that supports you and will help support others when you finally enter the professional sphere. So you have to ask yourself, how will this non-traditional educational pathway help you? And so it is a lot of thinking, a lot of asking these questions, because part of this process is justifying your reasoning and explaining it so that someone else that's not in your head can understand it. You're going to meet with an advisor, and part of your application process is actually writing down, this is what I want my degree to be, this is why, and this is how I think it will help me, help my community, and be very successful in the professional sphere. And so you're also going to have to think about the courses that you want. You're going to have to look at course catalogs and see, why would this certain microbiology course help me study health disparities? How can this particular peace and conflict education session support my career goals with this degree? And so I do want to say, even though I know that everyone says it all the time, that communication is key, because this can be a lengthy process. You have to put essentially what's in your brain on a piece of paper and make it so that other people can understand it. People that don't have the same mindset or the same thoughts as you. So there are advisors to utilize, and please do utilize them when you're doing this process, because they can help you translate something that's going on in your head into actual feasible actions. Because sometimes you might have an idea on your head that's not so feasible. My original degree wasn't health disparities as a global conflict. I don't even remember what exactly it was, but I do know that it took a few sessions with an advisor to actually talk about how we could make a concrete degree using peace and conflict education, because that is what I wanted to focus on. So you will have a lot of meetings to talk about this short little paragraph that you have to write to justify your new degree. And use those meetings, take notes. It's very important that you do communicate and tell them what you really want. And that's what those original questions that we were looking at, like, how does this help you holistically? How does this help you professionally? That's why those are very important, because you have to sort of justify why these specific courses out of so many. So you have to know how they'll help you. And so my personal experience with peace and conflict resolution, because this is kind of what we're focusing on with this session, is peace and conflict resolution is a way to integrate conflict resolution into my professional aspirations. So a traditional degree, for me, in my experience, it's very nice, but it doesn't exactly lean into talking about how to conduct positive change. And so the peace and conflict resolution interdisciplinary studies degree was very important for me because of that, because I could integrate conflict resolution tools into my everyday life with this degree. And this degree supplies those tools, as I said. And conflict resolution is applicable to all fields and is important to all fields. It's just as important to someone in public health who works in communities as someone who's maybe just an accountant or someone going into marketing. It is equally important, and it makes sense in both fields. So an IS in public conflict resolution, or in peace and conflict resolution, prepares you to look critically at every aspect of your field in order to fix systemic issues. So if you want to do your job, do it well, and be a leader in that field, you have to have the tools to be able to do that. And that's what the peace and conflict resolution IS degree does, is it supplies you with the ability to fix issues as they come up, to fix conflicts as they come up, but also to look critically at the environment around you to see how you best fit and how you can best conduct change. And so that is my personal experience with the IS Peace and Conflict degree. I have used it every single day of my life. It has been a sort of holistic growth and assistance in that way. So it can be a lot of work to get this specific degree in terms of meeting with advisors and making time out of your day to go to these departments, but I do recommend them because of the tools that you are supplied with in the long term.
Okay, well, thank you. Let me see, how do I stop the shared screen? Here we go. All right, so I did want to share with everybody, I kind of like to start it out with that because I think it's really best if we learn about our program from our own students and from our alumni. Actually, Sarah Kane is joining us with us today as well. She's one of our current students. I'm gonna go briefly into our undergrad certificate and our Peace Corps Prep certificate, specifically because Sarah is currently pursuing both of those. And so I wanna talk about just the logistical stuff a little bit about that. And then you'll hear from herself how the process has been. So speaking about the undergrad certificate in peace studies, it's equivalent to a minor, 5 courses as it states right there. There's the required courses are PACHE 310, which is a survey of peace and conflict studies. You need to do a practicum or an internship, the PACHE 495 course. You work with our instructors and we really kind of help you get set up on different practicum sites. always important. Normally students will do their practicum close to second to last or last semester that they're here, or they're just about finishing the certificate. It's always great to let us know at least a semester in advance that you're planning to do the practicum, just so that we can start having dialogues as to like, what would you like to get involved in? Internship site, it's not just the volunteer experience, it is more of collaborating with an organization, a state agency, and really trying to have a culminating project, something where after you've left, you can not only have, wow, that was really great, I helped develop that, or I helped run that, and something else that you can really just add on to your resume, which would hopefully help you as you move along your professional career in the peace and conflict resolution field. Additionally, another one of the required courses is a skills course. Right here, it just mentioned mediation and negotiation. Actually, facilitation also counts into that area. And then there's elective courses. You pick 2 courses from a plethora of various electives, everything from Gandhi King and Intro Nonviolence to terrorism to, we have a Hiroshima program during the summers for 2 weeks. Our students go to Hiroshima, partake in through a Hiroshima Peace Program through Hiroshima City University in Japan. So yeah, so the options are plentiful. Now, moving on to the grad certificate, the Peace Corps Prep Certificate. These are not in order here. This is a program that we got off the ground in January of 2018 and have had great success. I have to let everybody know, just by doing the certificate does not necessarily mean that, yes, you're gonna get into the Peace Corps, but I also need to let you know that I think it does help you get your foot into the door if you're truly interested in going to the Peace Corps, partially because part of the Peace Corps application asks, have you done the Peace Corps Prep Certificate? And if you have, it'll ask you to upload a PDF version of the exit checklist, which is something I will work with you on during your very last semester, which kind of is a culmination of all the classes and everything that you've done that, you know, can go into that area. So the beauty of the Peace Corps Prep Certificate is you're already preparing with the mindset of going into the Peace Corps. So first off, it'll ask you, like, which sector do you want to go into? Is it education, health, environment, agriculture, youth and development, community economic development? Normally, just by my first meeting with you, you let me know what your major is, what you're interested in going into. I can probably guide you along into which sector would probably fit best. I would say the earlier you know that you're interested in Peace Corps, please reach out to me so we can kind of get you started. I do want to emphasize how it is possible to do both the Peace Study Certificate and the Peace Corps Prep Certificate simultaneously and get both certificates. This is one of the few times you can double count courses here at the university, partially because a little loophole of the undergrad certificate in peace studies comes out of UH Mānoa, but the Peace Corps Prep Certificate actually comes out of the Peace Corps University programs, which is over in Washington, D.C. I happen to be the liaison as the Peace Corps Prep Coordinator, and so for those purposes, you would speak to me for the Peace Corps Prep program, you speak to Dr. Brian Hallett, or you can speak to me initially for the undergrad certificate in peace studies, and we'll connect Dr. Hallett as well. But you can kind of see some of the similarities right here that's outlined, some of the classes that are outlined. So initially it'll ask for 9 credits in your sector. So if you're already, you know, you want to go into the health sector and you're a bio major, well, you're probably going to be taking lots of 300, 400 level courses related to biology and organic chemistry, and the list goes on. And so it'll be great to just have some of those classes go into that sector. You're required to do 50 hours of volunteer experience. As you recall, I may have mentioned the practicum or internship through the undergrad certificate in peace studies. That requires 100 hours. So as long as we make sure that 50 of those 100 hours are related to your sector, we're good to go there. There is a foreign language requirement. For the most part, you're probably going to have to take a foreign language as part of your degree here anyways. If not, if you already speak another language, we can definitely waive the foreign language skills as well. So the other portion, intercultural competence courses that they're looking for, this is where the peace and conflict education courses really fall really nicely into those. And if you happen to be taking those for the certificate, then there you go. They fulfill some of the Peace Corps Prep Certificate intercultural competence as well. And then the last portion of the prep program is the professional leadership and development. Want to make sure you get that resume reviewed. If Manoa Career Center, you know, they're really busy, I'm always happy to help you out as well with to review your resume. We can do interview skills through Manoa Career Center, and then looking for really a leadership experience related to something in that sector. It does not necessarily mean you need to go out there and run for, you know, student senate or president. It's just something that you have led. And it's very possible that if you have done this practicum that I mentioned earlier, you probably have had a couple leadership opportunities through that as well. So that's kind of like how they work very closely together. I'll leave it up to you if you want to watch this video later. You can also see the prep student guide that really breaks down as far as like what are the nitty-gritty courses that fall into those areas. So, but without further ado, I do want to make some time for our Sarah, who's joining us today, and I'm going to share my screen or share the PowerPoint for her while she goes and takes it away.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me. My name is Sarah, and I'm here today to really speak towards the student perspective of pursuing the undergraduate certificate in both the Peace Studies and the Peace Corps prep program. As Jose was showing on the website, it is possible to do both at once, and it's pretty crazy because I came to UH Mānoa initially to pursue a degree in a bachelor's in nursing, and I never thought that I would be able to deviate from that course because it's such a heavy course load. But I've been working with Jose for the past couple years, and my Peace Studies experience has been entirely flexible. And I'll talk a little bit more about how my nursing classes and both my Peace Studies classes kind of integrated and double dipped and allowed me to graduate on time. But overall, an education piece has really given me the opportunity to learn more about people across all walks of life, help shape my worldview, and has really provided the foundation necessary to navigate conflict and cultivate relationships in my everyday life. So if you go to the next slide for me, please, Jose. Thank you. So how I became interested in peace. Like I mentioned, I did not consider Peace Studies coming into UH Mānoa. It wasn't into my freshman year at a career fair that I came across a Peace Corps booth. And I'm the Peace Corps recruiter. I was absolutely drawn to the Peace Corps initially because the values of service and community, and of course traveling I thought was really great. And Jose mentioned that you can specialize in a certain sector, and I thought the health sector completely aligned with my interests as a nursing student. So I really wanted to get more involved. The following year, I interned as a Peace Corps campus ambassador, working alongside the Peace Corps recruiter, and I got to meet so many of the returned Peace Corps volunteers and hear their stories. I really recommend the experience because Peace Corps is quite a commitment. For those of you that don't know, it's 2 years long, living in a completely different community, and it takes a lot of thought. So interacting with these returned volunteers really solidified my interest in the Peace Corps. And from there, working as a Peace Corps ambassador really segued into my interest in peace studies. And I started by meeting Jose the next semester and talking about the Peace Corps prep certificate and the Peace Studies undergraduate certificate. All right, you can go to the next slide, Jose. All right, so my Peace Studies classes. So as I mentioned, double dipping. I thought it was incredible that both these undergraduate certificates were able to fit in with my busy schedule. And more on that, in the Peace Corps, you can pick certain sectors. So there was the health sector. My nursing classes fulfilled a lot of those requirements. So able to do those undergraduate certificates and take my major was fairly easy, very flexible. And I was so excited to be able to do something that deviated from science. My left brain was really starting to hurt. They were so different from the science classes that I was taking. They're all really fun, really great courses, everything from languages to human rights, conflict studies. I took Gandhi, King, and Nonviolence, and that was one of my favorite classes. And it quickly became exposed to a plethora of different cultures, ways of life and perspectives that completely shifted my worldview, which speaks to the intercultural competence education that Jose was talking a little bit about. So I learned Peace Studies, I was really able to transition from kind of the egocentrism of my teenage years and learn a little bit more about the world around me. And it's, even though peace studies kind of really seemed to deviate from my nursing education, it became the catalyst to learning how I interacted with the world. So yeah, I love classes. And you can go on to the next slide, Jose. I wanted to speak a little bit more about my practicum. Just a forewarning, everyone's practicum experience is completely different. We all have different mentors, different interests, different locations that we work at. For example, I'm currently working as an intern at the Matsunaga Institute for Peace with Jose. See a lot of them. And really that opportunity came up because Jose called me right before the semester started. He's like, Sarah, I have this opportunity for conflict in healthcare. And he really was able to integrate my interest as a nursing major and my requirements as a peace studies student. So yeah, that kind of worked out perfectly. So far, I've had the opportunity to interact with people from all across different backgrounds, coming together to pursue mutual interests of respect, understanding, connection. I think, for example, in an event, I got to witness a webinar, a Zoom meeting from women across a multitude of professional backgrounds coming together to discuss their roles at the local level to combat climate change. And I've just got to meet so many incredible people within the field of peace studies within my community, and I've had the opportunity to network and coordinate events alongside other peace builders within my community. All right, you can go to the next slide, Jose. And how peace studies fits into my life. As I mentioned, I initially thought that nursing completely deviated from my peace studies education, as both a nursing major and also a resident assistant at the UH dorms here in student housing. And studying peace has not only supplemented my nursing skills, just with the cultural competence and the, my heightened sense of empathy and understanding. Also as an RA, I've been able to use those skills I learned as a mediator in my community and address and use those conflict resolution tools within my everyday life, within my work. Yeah, I absolutely use that every day, believe it or not. There's a lot of freshmen who don't like to wear masks nowadays. So definitely comes into handy. And really the undergraduate peace studies certificate and the Peace Corps prep program has become the foundation of how I interact with others. All right, and last slide for me, please. All right, so hopefully throughout this presentation, I've given you all some insight into the ways that peace studies education has become an integral part of my UH Mnoa experience. If you're interested in conflict resolution or the Peace Corps prep program at all, learning more about the world and as well as in all its diversity and creating strong relationships, I really encourage you to either speak with Jose or Brian Hallett and pursue these undergraduate degrees. All right, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that. And I think that brings us to time. So I just want to be conscientious. But yeah, if you want to contact us, you can email me at uhip@hawaii.edu, and happy to set up a phone, Zoom meeting, whatever you like. And then we can catch up and help you out.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah and Jose. What a hidden gem at UH Mānoa. Not many people know about, you know, your peace studies and peace and conflict resolution degrees. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really liked how Joanna and Sarah both attest to this is becoming a catalyst for who they're becoming, and that just speaks volumes about the power of the program. So I think that's great. I did have one question, Jose. This is from a student from yesterday who was asking me, the courses for the interdisciplinary bachelor's degree, it's listed on your website that they can choose from. But Joanna was talking about the process. Was that long process she was talking about because she chose health disparity as a global conflict, or you still have to do that whole process regardless of your specific area? I wasn't too clear on that.
So although there are lots of classes that are listed there that can go toward different degrees, it is not the all and be all of courses out there. And it is important to make sure that you have met with your advisor, have your degree declared, and have a confirmation from your advisor that, yes, these courses that I'm planning to take are the ones going toward my major, as opposed to, I have taken all these classes and I'm approaching you right now in my last semester and I want to get this degree, which is not the way to go about with the degree. So it is very flexible, which is wonderful. Like Joanne was able to focus on health disparities. We've had other students focus on international relations, international peace building, climate change. And so that's part of the beauty of it being in interdisciplinary studies, that students can kind of tailor it to what they want. So yeah, so that's.
All students will have to go through that process.
Yes.
Okay.
That meeting with them. It really all starts with an orientation. That's, I would say, send me an email. I will connect them to all the right people so they can get set up with an orientation. And then after they do the orientation, they connect with Dr. Hallett, who helps them really kind of brainstorm. They want to take this. And I gotta say, it's truly been a great experience for students, especially if you're looking, or if you haven't even considered like future like graduate work. Like when you apply to, let's say, a PhD program, you're going to apply with like your letter of intent is going to be what I want to do with this PhD. And so it's that same mindset of like, this is what I want to do with this peace studies degree. I've signed up for this degree and I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. So there's a little more intent going into it.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Sarah, Jose, you want to add before we transition?
Yeah, sure. I think Amy asked a question in the chat regarding time management. I think it's such a great question. Thank you for that. Don't get me wrong, it is very busy having these certificates, but the great thing about peace studies is that, let's say, for example, I've had a very heavy nursing schedule. I'm able to kind of switch around my peace studies courses and kind of accommodate for my very like science heavy semester classes, and vice versa. So I've kind of learned like I can't take very high level science classes and a language because my brain can't handle all of that. But I have been able to kind of rearrange my schedule that way, and like I said, it is very flexible within that. So
only thing I would add is the courses are really, once you take them, you'll start realizing you're like, oh, like I've either have been doing this type of work, I just haven't had the right terminology. So I got to say, everyone out there, for most likely one way or the other, has had to deal with conflict and manage it in some way, whether it's been effectively or not. You have a system, whether it's like, you're like, I'm going to avoid this and walk away, or you're like, okay, let's talk it out. This is the type of material dialogues that you'll be having in these classes. So I'm actually an alum of the Grad Certificate in Conflict Resolution, which was also listed on that website. And I also happen to be one of the affiliate faculty or the lecturers in the program. So these are the classes you'll talk about the differences between, what is the difference between like peace building, peacekeeping, peacemaking. You know, it's, some people may not even think about. So yeah, it's everything from how is mediation different than negotiation, facilitation, or organizational change? You know, how do you create that? What's an effective meeting to have? What should it entail? You know, just because people tell you like, all right, this is the agenda for today, go out and do it, doesn't necessarily mean that's an effective meeting. So how do you nurture that within your organization or within the people that, you know, you surround yourself on a daily basis with, to have effective meetings, to have a productive and healthy relationship in organization moving forward. So that's really kind of like a good way to kind of summarize what we do. But thank you for having us today, and we'll be here if you need anything else.
Thank you.
I have one more question, sorry. Jose, could you talk a little bit about the online options with the Peace Studies program?
Yes, so we've been very fortunate that actually our undergrad certificate in peace studies, actually all of them are online now, but specifically our undergrad certificate in peace studies, I gotta say for at least 10 years now, we've had a great collaborative with Maui College, where our students have been getting, I work closely with the representatives over there, the advisors, and students get the undergrad certificate in peace studies. I teach online, so some of those students end up in my classes, which are wonderful, and they're still able to do a practicum or an internship on a remote basis because one example is we had a student in Maui who was like, I'm really interested in mediation. So she interned at Maui Mediation Services, which is the main mediation center over in Maui. And lo and behold, now she actually has a full-time job there. So it's always great when I call over there. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And so there are actually mediation centers on every island. There's 2 on Hawaii Island, 1 in Kauai and 1 here in Oahu. And so, but if not the mediation centers, there's other organizations to get involved in. Some of the other places students have done, everywhere from the Lieutenant Governor Josh Green's office to various senators, the Hawaii State Judiciary, the Central Alternate Dispute Resolution. But it is possible to do the program online, especially moving forward with all the different changes we have. We're actually planning to have at least about 42 seats through extension for the spring semester, which are going to be specifically seats for students who are not in Manoa, who are part of the rest of the UH system or just in the community who want to take some of our undergraduate courses. We have graduate courses as well that will be offered through extension. So they're definitely it's a mix of asynchronous and synchronous. I will say the majority of it is asynchronous. And although what you may have heard out in the world with the transitions during the pandemic, I have to speak on behalf of the department and say we do normally we do, I would say 98% a really good job of asynchronous, and still with the power of peace and conflict studies, and it kind of lends to having those open-ended questions, building relationships and nurturing an environment where you can still feel like you're connecting with your classmates, although you're not physically online at the same time as they are. So I do have to just do a shout out for that, because I know with lots of online classes right now, everyone is either one way or the other, and at the end of the day, everyone wants in person, and that's unfortunately what we can't do at the moment. So it is a good middle ground, I would say. And I think Amy can probably speak to that herself as one of my past students being part of the program and an alum of the program. So please reach out. Happy to meet people in the community all the time and talk about further.
Thank you. So we can go ahead and transition. Thank you so much, Sarah and Jose again. We'll go ahead and transition to social sciences now. And I just want to briefly introduce the panelists. Jarrett, he's a program manager. Kamakana, I'm not sure if he's here, but he's the Native One coordinator. Don, the academic advisor, as well as Jennifer, academic advisor, and Dan, director of international programs. So thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so good, I guess this would be afternoon, everybody. My name is Jarrett Leong. I will, for at least this presentation, be the, host and moderator. And, I want to thank Sarah and Jose for their presentation. Matsunaga Group is actually in the College of Social Sciences, and that's what we're going to be focusing on, but we are going to be looking at more of a broad view with focus on the undergraduate programs, pathways, and also other offerings that we have. And then quickly like to note, just based on their presentation as well, 2 important things for everybody to think about. Always start early with your planning, and talk to the department directly is always a great thing to do, because as Jose mentioned, you can learn a little bit more insight about the application process that you won't find on their website. And also, you may find some insight on how to double count credits, which always saves you time and money. So very important to kind of consider. So with our presentation, move along. Okay, so we will do a quick intro of the team. We do have a quick video, promo video that we have from our College of Social Sciences School of Communication. We do have a welcome message from Dean Conan. And then we get into our presentation and the Q&A. First, the recruitment team. Again, my name is Jarrett Leong. I am the program manager for the Public Administration program. I also do some advising for that program as well. And I specialize more on grad programs for this team. Kamakana is unfortunately unavailable for this presentation, but he is our Native Hawaiian Initiatives Coordinator. And I'd like to have Dawn introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Dawn Nishida. I'm an academic advisor with the Colleges of Social Sciences, and I sit in economics.
I'm Jennifer Sherrill, and I'm a college advisor with College of Social Sciences.
My name is Dan Ferguson. I'm Director of International Programs, and I assist international students.
All right, and our next is our video. Hopefully, through this webinar, you guys will be able to, it'll play and you can hear it. So.
UH Mānoa's College of Social Sciences is shaping global citizens, exploring new horizons, striving for social justice. We are breaking barriers, expanding knowledge, empowering others, and standing up for positive change. We are molding young minds, bridging ideas, working for peace, encouraging equality, and building communities. We are the faces of the future. We are the College of Social Sciences.
College of Social Sciences is great. I feel like you can learn a lot here. I really want to make a social change.
I got to know people from other cultures, and their story has made my story.
The college has a lot of great programs to offer and has essentially given me the start to my career.
College of Social Sciences provides this opportunity for students to take learning outside the classroom.
You get to experience the culture, the people, the diversity, and really gain a better understanding of this world we live in.
When I've been on the ground with the people, I felt like this is what I'm meant to do.
The professors have all this experience behind them, and they're here waiting to share that with you.
Come to UH Mānoa's College of Social Sciences. It's an awesome opportunity. See you there!
Okay, I'd like to thank our School of Communications for that video. Now we have a welcome message from Dean Conan. Dean Conan is the College of Social Sciences Dean, the Manoa Academy Dean, Department of Economics Professor, and the U Hero Fellow. Let me introduce you to Dean Denise Conan.
Aloha, I'm Denise Conan, Dean of the College of Social Sciences at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I invite you to continue your academic journey with us. UH Mānoa is located on a beautiful 320-acre campus at the entrance to Manoa Valley in Honolulu. And the College of Social Sciences offers many opportunities, academic and extracurricular. We have internationally acclaimed programs and a supportive faculty and staff. Our unique geographic location, combined with our rich cultural heritage, will enable you to meet fellow students from around the world. These encounters will truly bring your studies to life. the value of a social sciences degree is extremely relevant in this day and time. I encourage you to come to the University of Hawaii at Manoa and experience the transformational opportunities that we have to offer you. Please join us. Mahalo.
Okay, and now I would like to turn it over to our lead advisors, Don Nishida and Jennifer Oshiro.
Thanks, Jarrett. So Jen and I welcome you to our portion. And so here we're going to tell you briefly the story of social sciences because we don't have that much time. We're going to touch on a few things. And if you have any questions or you want more information, then Jarrett's going to put up our email at the end. So who we are and what we can be for you. So the next slide, please. So social sciences, it's so important. And a lot of times students find their major with us or graduate with us. They come in late because they always, they might have other interests and then they start taking classes along the way and then find social sciences. And so then, you know, they'll finish their major in enough time to graduate, but sometimes they miss out on a lot of the other things that we offer, which Jen is gonna go over later. But social sciences is so important, especially in this time of the pandemic, when we're on lockdown, when we're kind of in isolation. I think people are realizing that their relationships with their family, with themselves, with their communities, you know, is so important now. And social sciences helps us understand ourselves, and then it improves the relationships that we have with others. And it kind of helps us understand, right, the world around us and why are these things happening? And along the way, no matter what your major is, you're going to acquire career skills. And we can talk about that a little later, like when, you know, if you want advising. The biggest thing is that the social scientists, I think, is going to play a really important role in what the world is going to be, because everything is so different now, right? And when we all come back, the social scientists are going to find a better way, right? So when I looked at careers, right, they say that every career that there is, and again, there's going to be new ones because of the COVID, right? Things are changing, but every career falls into 6 categories. And one of those categories is human services. So of course, all of our majors and departments, some of them are undergraduate and graduate, some are only graduate, like public administration, where Jarrett comes from. But no matter what, right, all of those, you can have a career in human services. And human services is like education, government, social services that help people, okay? So we're very important. But I'm gonna go through the next ones real quickly, just so you get an idea. And again, these are just the ones that we came up with in the majors, but I think every major in social sciences can fit under these categories to show you how diverse, how your major in social sciences could go to any career, okay? It's gonna help you. You're gonna learn about people, right? You work with people. So agriculture, food, natural resources, that's like sustainability, things like that. Business, right? That's a big one. A lot of people want business. Next slide. Health, science, technology. It's not just the doctors and the nurses, right? It's working in the hospitals, all the industry that supports it. Engineering, manufacturing, technology. And the last slide of this series is communication and information systems. Okay, so what you see is that all of our majors you can have a career anywhere with our majors. Our majors, you know, a lot of times people just take it for, you know, what it is, like anthropology, right? They think, oh, it's the study of man. But I wanted to tell you that, you know, our majors are multifaceted. So that means, like in anthropology, there's archaeology that everybody knows, right? Like Indiana Jones. But there's cultural anthropology, where you're going to study about people. And then there's the biology, or the biological part of it, where a lot of our science and medical students could have an area there. And so, wait, before I even do this, I just want to hit a little bit on some of the majors, Jarrett. So, you know, I can't do all the majors because we don't have that much time, but I wanted to talk about ethnic studies. Ethnic studies, I call that the jewel of social sciences. Here, you're gonna have the support, and it's gonna feel like the ohana of a community college, right? But you're gonna be at a Research One university. And all of our majors have social justice, but with ethnic studies, students are gonna study what happened in the past, what's happening now, and be agents of peaceful change. We have economics, and I call that the hidden jewel of social sciences, because a lot of times it's with either the math or kind of STEM kind of colleges, or it's in business. But with economics, it's a quantitative part. So if you get these skills, and they always tie it with people because it's in social sciences, so it's not just straight math. And here you can have lots of, you can have opportunities anywhere, okay? And, okay. So the other thing is there are a lot more majors. Again, they're multifaceted. I don't have that much time. I really want you to explore our majors. We have some special programs, the online and hybrid programs. So we have face-to-face, and again, because of COVID, a lot of it is online, but we have two so we have two online programs, economics and women's studies. You will be able to have your major courses all online. You don't have to worry about it, we have them. Hybrid, it's mainly online, but you have a few face-to-face, so we'll work you through that. The other thing is we also have Aloha Pathways, and we don't have a slide for that, but with Leeward Community College in particular, the online ones are the economics and the women's studies. And we will work with you on any of our other majors to make sure that you transition successfully. Next slide.
Okay, so I'll talk to you a little bit more about minor certificates. So hopefully, as you decide to choose UH Mānoa as a place to come to school, I hope you also consider not only all of our different and diverse majors that we have, but also a minor or certificate. And as Jose had mentioned earlier in the previous presentation, the Peace Studies certificate. One of the biggest benefits of getting a minor or certificate is that it provides an added base of knowledge to you. So for some students who are interested maybe in doing or working in the correctional industry, after graduation, I have a student who's doing a psychology degree for their undergraduate, and then they're also minoring in sociology, where we have a lot of our criminal justice courses. One of the things that you can think about when you do this certificate is that it's not going to add on any extra time or any extra money. A lot of these credits you'll have to do anyway. So basically what you're going to be doing is fulfilling all of those elective credits that you're going to need, and those minors and certificate courses are going to slide right into them. So you can still graduate on time and not have to pay any extra for these courses. Next slide. I also wanted to bring up that we do have something called the BAM program at UH Mānoa. And this is a way for you to actually get your bachelor's and master's degree in a very timely manner. You can save time, you can save money, and you can gain a competitive advantage. By taking some of these graduate level courses as an undergraduate, you'll be able to actually walk away with a master's degree in less time than you would normally. Because usually if you come to UH Mānoa, you'll have to do your bachelor's degree in 2 to 4 years, and then another 2 to 2 years for your graduate level degree. But by doing your the BAM program, you can take your some graduate level courses. As an undergraduate, you're going to be paying undergraduate tuition. And for a lot of these jobs nowadays, you're going to probably need a master's degree. So that's how you can get a competitive advantage. Next slide, please. And these are just a listing of some of our BAM programs. So we have economics, ethnic studies has education administration and educational foundations. Geography is our newest BAM program. And then we also have psychology and political science. Next slide. I also wanted to mention that we do have some innovative opportunities for you to get involved at in the College of Social Sciences. We have two programs, which is service learning and internships. So I highly suggest that you get involved. Internships, basically you'll be able to get some on-the-job training, and sometimes these opportunities turn into jobs. Community engagement through service learning, you'll be able to take what you learn in the classroom and actually put it into real-world experiences. I also suggest that you do get involved with our clubs and honor societies. A lot of these clubs and honor societies offers opportunities to network with fellow students, possibly gain mentors in the honor society. You can look for scholarship opportunities as well, and also leadership experience. And then we also have global learning opportunities. Next slide.
I'll talk about the global learning part of that. My name is Dan Ferguson. I work with international programs, specifically students who come to UH and the College of Social Science especially have opportunities to not only, of course, international students coming from abroad wanting to transfer into UH Mānoa, College of Social Science, but also for students who are from the United States interested in studying abroad and making an experience abroad a part of their study opportunity. Many of the great thing about the social science when it comes to global learning and working or studying abroad is the idea that you can actually do some things within your program that will take you to another country, another culture. And I can attest to the importance in my own case of going abroad for the first time many years ago. There are other opportunities as well. Fulbright Killam Scholarship involves scholarship to study, I believe, in Canada. National Student Exchange and political internships. We have a political internship program and an advisor for that particular program that you might want to get in touch with if you're interested in those areas. Thank you.
Wow, so I think we were so concerned with making our time that we went through a lot of our stuff very quickly. I think we're way ahead of schedule, but that way now we can answer a little bit more questions, unless Don or Jennifer, if you guys have anything else you guys want to add to it. Again, I think when it comes to the important part of planning early is really going to be beneficial, especially if you're thinking about a BAM or even thinking about a minor or certificate. I know Jennifer talked about, it's not going to necessarily add any extra time or money, but if you have to plan it correctly, right? So if you plan it correctly and you're able to find those opportunities to maybe double count or use the same credit for two different things, which is double counting, those opportunities are there, but you kind of have to make sure that it all falls in line with your graduation timeline. And it kind of starts with working with your advisor and also the department. And I think that's another key thing. With Don and Jennifer, they represent Access, which is the main advising hub for the college. But then when you want to talk to someone like Jose or even myself, when it comes to the actual individual department, that makes sense because we can give you a little bit more insight and specifically how it's prevalent to our actual program. So Don and Jen will have that information, but a lot of times the department will have what's on the horizon and also maybe a little bit more of the specifics and details. So those are kind of things to think about as you go through this journey. So I think we are ready for any Q&A right now. So let me do the stop sharing. Good.
I have a question a student brought up. This might be for Jennifer. It's about the BAM program. I understand the save time, money, and competitive edge, but what exactly does that look like in their senior year of their bachelor's degree? They're taking grad courses. I guess if you can sort of in a nutshell explain the advantages of that. Sounds like a great program.
So actually for the BAM programs, a lot of the departments who have them, they already have, so there is a program sheet or like a program template, so you can kind of see like the schedule, like when you would be starting to take some of the courses. But what it allows you to do is it actually, you would apply a little bit earlier to the grad program. So that's usually, it looks like probably by the time you're a senior, you already have to be accepted. No, junior year? So junior year?
Yeah, so junior year, you're gonna apply and they're gonna look for the GPA, right? And if you're accepted, then in your senior year, you're gonna do a couple of 600 level courses and one 400 level. So 9 credits are double dip between undergraduate and graduate. So in essence, you're only paying for 1 year of grad school. So the BAM is like an accelerated grad program.
Thank you.
And do you folks see many students participating in the BAM programs for social sciences?
I think that it's getting more popular. One of the first ones that ever came out was the economics one, but political science, right? Geography just came out with their new one, right? And I expect the psychology. So I've seen psychology ones where they're going to the College of Ed. So I think that especially with this time, right? And then it's so economical that students are going to do more BAMs. I mean, where else can you double dip, right? You're never allowed to double dip normally. So this is amazing.
And with a lot of the changes that are happening within the university, I think we're seeing that there's going to be a lot more opportunities out there. It's not going to be just the same discipline. You may see a cross of a bachelor's in one and going to another, which we already do see, but you might not have to get it all in that one department or one program, which is kind of nice for somebody who's thinking that they want to kind of broaden their view. But yeah, it really comes down to the student kind of starting a little early. So it's good if we have any of the newer students that are watching this, that you might want to talk already about this, what's going on, get an idea if this is right for you. And then you would probably want to plan that out pretty soon.
So the other thing I wanted to say was that, you know, Laurie, I work well with Laurie, right? Laurie and I, we've known each other forever, but we will, if students are interested in the pathways or they're interested in BAM or they're interested in our majors, we will work with students before they come over. So it's almost like, you know, you have this whole support team where you have your advisors at your community college, you have your advisor at Manoa where you're going to come to, right? And so I think it, you know, it's very economical and again, very efficient, right? And I think this is great.
I have another question for the group. What is the most popular major right now? Is it still psychology or?
It's psychology, right? I think psychology is, it's popular in social sciences, that's for sure, right? But it's also, I think, you know, for the whole UH Mānoa, it's like either it was, I don't know if it still is, but it is, right, one of the biggest majors to graduate students, right?
A lot of students are pre-psych majors, right? I mean,
yeah, but I want students to look at the other majors because, you know, psychology is the study of behavior, study of mind, right? But also with the psychology major, there's room for double major because that major doesn't take care of all the upper division credits required at Manoa. A lot of our psych students can do double majors, minors, and certificates without adding any more time or money. And so I think that's a cool thing. But the other thing they have to remember is that all of our majors, even geography, there's cultural geography, all of it has to deal with people. And so, you know, there's so much overlap between our majors, and it's just a matter of finding a professor or a department that has the interest that you have. And it's just fascinating to hear these faculty talk about it.
And I'd have to check to see how many international students, where, you know, what their degrees are in, but they're spread quite a bit. I think psychology is one of them, but there are other programs too.
I know, I feel like College of Social Sciences is just so great because you have a really nice collection of a lot of different great majors, as you mentioned, Dawn, that, you know, can really give you that foundation just going to that next step in your career and your life journey.
Yeah, the thing I'm excited about with it is that there's a lot of global learning and global engagement. That's a big part of really what I think is most important in these kind of fields.
And does study abroad fit well into the social sciences majors?
I think it fits probably the best of all of them, truthfully, because depending upon what the requirements are for specific degrees, students have an easier road to doing something like that, rather than, for example, you know, in engineering or some other, you know, science-based program, which are really focused, really restrictive towards the courses that they have to take. But I think there's more opportunity, and of course it depends on the major, but I think there is a more opportunity to do study abroad or part of our mixed program, which we have engagement with universities all around the world, where we have this kind of for one, where students will go there and a student will come here. So it's similar to study abroad way.
So the College of Social Sciences does encourage study abroad. Thank you for bringing it up, Amy. We encourage it so much that we actually have a study abroad advisor that sits in Access. So if students are interested, they can already start talking to her about it. Early planning is the key, I think, and it does fit with majors, but you just want to make sure, right, that you plan it so that your major, you can graduate in a timely manner, right?
Yeah, definitely early planning. I mean, especially for students coming from community college, it really is important because they've already completed a lot of their, gen ed requirements. And so it's really important to, kind of converse with the advisor dealing with study abroad.
And are there any like financial aid or scholarship opportunities with the College of Social Sciences? Like, do you guys have like any broad scholarships for CSS students, or is it more major specific?
I think it's going to be more major specific at the undergraduate level, and maybe even at the graduate level. Like I sit in economics, so I go to their ceremonies, and so each department I think will have their own scholarships where people will donate. And I think if they want general scholarships, they would probably go to STAR, right, to look for it. But I think students should look everywhere. Again, money is going to be a little harder now, right? But I've been impressed with the economic scholarships. I got to tell you, it is like amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if there's maybe just a really quick wrap up. Amy put the link in the chat for the BAM and also OHA pathways. And thank you, Jared, for putting the email. Is that your email, Jared?
Yeah.
Just clarifying. Okay.
Yes, that's the
okay.
For College of Social Sciences
Okay.
for our
general. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming. I know you guys, everyone's busy at this time, but thank you so much for coming. And I know students will be tapping into this video. And Dan, thank you for sharing. I was not aware of, the international program. So thank you so much for sharing, Dan.
Glad to help.
Thank you. Any last thoughts from any of our presenters before we wrap up? Okay. Let me share my screen one more time. All right. So thank you so much for being here and joining us for the presentation of the Peace Studies program and with the College of Social Sciences. Our next Transfer Tuesday offering is going to be next week, Tuesday, November 17th, with the Hawaii Nui Kea School of Hawaiian Knowledge, as well as the Ethnic Studies program. Okay, hope you check it out.
Thank you.